You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Wepppaaaaa, what a man, this is your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. Woo, today I'm excited. We're talking with a big boss in the building. Listen, they're changing the game here. There's a dope publisher that's with another dope collectibles publisher that are about to change the game in the digital space, especially on the indie side. Come on, baby. Listen, indie's where it's at, and my people here are doing it. They've been in the business for a minute, doing their thing. My man here, listen, he's a killer. He's a killer, right? He has a background in media and entertainment, animation, TV, film projects. He is the COO, Wepppaaaaa, I don't mean trouble either, of Humanoids Inc., the one, the only, the amazing Mr. Alex. Wepppaaaaa, how you doing?
Hey, Al. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming through. You're like, what the hell? This guy's so loud. I'm having some fun, brother.
Yeah, I got young kids, so I know loud.
Explain this. Why I'm hiding my head. You know what I mean? Hey, anyway, with that, brother, thank you for coming to talk about, what's popping with Humanoids, Veve, and everything. I mean, if I'm pronouncing it right, is it Veve? How they say it? All right, excellent. So we're gonna rock out, man, because they're about to change the game here. So we're gonna dive right in real quick. All right. Origin story. Every great leader has when you are a COO at Humanoids, but you've had quite the journey. What's the journey been to becoming the CEO of Humanoids, and how has your background, if you will, shaped your approach to the comic book business?
All right. Well, I have a bit of a superhero origin story, in the sense that my parents met on the set of the first Superman movie.
Stop lying! Really?
Yeah, true story.
Reeve joint?
Yeah. So my uncle, his name is Pierre Spangler. He's a film producer, and he was the main producer on the Superman movies. Cool. And he had hired his younger sister, my mom, to work on the film as working in the script continuity department. And my dad was a film publicist who worked as a unit publicist on different movie sets. And he had worked with my uncle previously. At some point, he visited my uncle on the set of Superman 1. My uncle introduced my dad to my mom. They fell in love. My dad ended up working on Superman 2 and 3 with them. Okay. And shortly thereafter, I was created.
Hey, there you go. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's crazy.
And in terms of how I got to where I am, I'll try to give you the broad strokes. My mom's French. My dad's American. I grew up in France, reading, what we call bande dessinée, which is, the European comics.
Okay.
And always a big fan of storytelling in all its forms, whether it was films, TV shows, cartoons, comic books, novels. My parents are big consumers of cinema and of literature.
Love it. It was always around you. It was always around.
Always. Stocked, bookshelves. We had a wall of VHS tapes growing up. So me and my siblings were always, reading a lot, watching a lot of stuff. So I fell in love with storytelling, and I kind of never looked back. And
nice.
Like I said, read a lot of bande dessinée growing up. The classics like Asterix and Obelix, Luke, Tintin, and some of the big ones. And eventually,
through Cinegraphics, I started getting into Lucky Luke. That's cool. I like that. It was fun read.
And it's in France, it's such a big part of the culture, everybody reads comics, there's comics for all demographics and all genres.
So you grew up in France though, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in France.
So let me ask you then. So growing up, did you have a tribe, like a fellow group of geeks that you guys would rock with, or were you kind of a lone wolf? Because I want to know the difference. In America, back in the day, you're a nerd. It's like, oh, how dare you? They make fun of you. How was it in France?
Comics have always, like I said, been a big part of the culture. So there's never really been that sense that if you read comics that you're a geek. In France,
So no stigma
everybody,
against it.
yeah. However, I was also drawn to Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering. So I did, in that sense, gravitate towards the kids that were doing that. And at that time in the 80s in France, there wasn't a huge amount of kids doing that.
Yeah.
Um, but I was pretty versatile, so I would also play a lot of sports and
What
do
was
what
your
kids
sport?
do. So
What
I
was
kind
your
of
number
jumped
one
around.
sport? Let's get to know Al right here. What was your number one sport out there?
So out there it was soccer and tennis, and eventually I kind of gave up on the soccer, kept with the tennis, uh, and I did a little wrestling. and and now I continue with the tennis, do some surfing. So I've remained active and I've remained a geek. So a bit best of both worlds.
There we go. There we go. All right. So talk to me. What have been some of the most significant challenges in your career, and how did it prepare you for your current role?
Um, so the big shift that happened for me. So I went to film school, and I really was set to want to continue in my parents' footsteps and work in films.
Nice.
However, at some point, I was given the opportunity to work for Humanoids. So that one of the big challenges for me was to make that decision to switch from film and working for a film producer to working in publishing. Even though we're still talking about storytelling, and again, like that's my passion. Um, and so I had to make that kind of leap of faith that I could, switch industries, even though they're very related industries, as we know.
So what season
Uh,
are we talking about when it switched? Like what year was this when this
so
opportunity?
this was shortly a couple years after I graduated university. So we're talking like 2008, 2009. I was working
Oh
for a
wow.
film
Okay.
producer and as an assistant and just kind of learning the ropes of international film production, distribution, sales, reading a lot of scripts, doing some assistant work. Um, and I was my employer at the time had a relationship with the CEO of Humanoids, whose name is Fabrice Geiger. He's ran and owned the company since the late 80s. And I got to know him. And at some point, I was offered an opportunity to join Humanoids.
No, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
which was very exciting because I knew a lot of their books, having read some of them as a kid, having read some of them as an adult, being French and American. I had that connection to kind of the duality of it, since Humanoids has an office in France and one here in the US. So there were a lot of things that were very attractive. However, I did not know the ins and out of publishing. Even though I had consumed a lot of it, I didn't know how a comic was made. I didn't know how comics were distributed. I didn't really know the business models around publishing. So thankfully, because the CEO was very encouraging and mentored me, I over the past, now it's been 15 years that I've been at Humanoids, I really, in those early years, learned the ropes about the publishing business and specifically about the comics publishing business, which is very specific. I got to find out about Diamond Comics and the direct market and comic book store owners and conventions and the editorial process, sales and marketing, working with outlets such as yours or others. And so for those first few years, the big challenge for me was to try to learn as much as possible, since we were a very small team at the time and my role was, multifaceted. I was just kind of helping out where possible. Was to take everything in and digest it and then try to see how we could apply it to our company. And so little by little, this coincided with the one of the latest iterations of Humanoids in the US, since the company had taken a break in the late 2000s. We started publishing again, and with that, I had to jump in with both feet and set up distribution, work on the sales and marketing side of things.
Oh, so you were the one that emailed me like, "Hey, we're back." Love it.
Yeah.
I remember those days. Yeah.
And so that was a big challenge. And I'd say the other big challenge has been just navigating the ongoing changes in the publishing space, specifically in the comic book space, which on one side, as you've probably seen, has been great in that I'd say in the past 20 years, we've seen the comics business really kind of become much bigger and more diverse. And, it's starting to look like what it was in Europe in terms of just having books for everyone and all kinds of different stories.
100.
However, we've also been, the comic business is also one that is, I'd say, relatively fragile, So I think there has been a lot of kind of headwinds over the past few years in terms of not just, bigger economic issues, but also, COVID and different reading habits. And
even political space, and political mindsets, because people think how, hey, well, you're sending a message this here or that, so yeah, unfortunately,
that's part of it as well. So I think just adjusting and evolving along with the changes in the marketplace, and always having, the consumer in mind, telling the best stories, supporting creators, supporting diverse voices, trying to stay relevant. And that's the challenge. I think it's, because the margins in the publishing business are relatively small. It's not, people are not getting really wealthy in comics, and that's okay. I think it's a great industry that's very vibrant and creating a lot of great work. But I think it does take, like I said, just being adaptable to what's happening around us.
You want to talk about adapting over here? Talk to me over here, man. I need to know this over here. That promance that happened amongst this big announcement between you guys and Veve. I mean, what's popping here, man? Like,
yeah,
what's the deal, baby?
Yeah, we're very excited about this. So, one thing that I've really enjoyed about Humanoids is that in a lot of ways, we're a classic publisher. We've been around for 50 years. We publish great genre stories and graphic novels, and working with creators all around the world, and beautiful. And we publish them in these beautiful books, oversized books, really nice quality paper, special editions. With that said, we've always also been very aware of technology and how things are changing. So we were early adopters to turning our books and making them available digitally, partnering with digital partners. So I, as part of my responsibilities, have always been on the lookout for new opportunities in new spaces. And so I had heard about Veve when they announced their partnership with Marvel and the launch of the comic side of their business, digital comics. And so I reached out to David, who's the CEO over there, and I got to know him a little bit. And I really appreciated his passion, his experience, his background in retail and collectibles. He's a true fan and an entrepreneur. And so we decided to partner with them. And for us, we are happy to have as many digital partners as possible, as opposed to the print business, where you kind of have just, a single distributor for certain segments of the market. In digital, our philosophy is like, we want to be in as many places as possible. Whether it's, Comixology, of course, but also on iTunes, Google.
Whatever we got over here, Nanits. Come on, let's go.
And so I really liked what Veve had done in the collectible space, in the NFT space, and partnering with geek brands in creating art and unique.
Are you a fan of NFTs? in that crypto space, and those type of things.
I've always found it really interesting, and it seems that the last few years, a lot of people have been testing the waters in various forms on how, especially as it relates to comics, which is very much a collector's space, on how to adapt that into something collectible in the digital space. And so we had been more of a wait and see approach in terms of partnering with somebody who offered NFTs, but we were really convinced by what Veve was doing, and we liked the idea that we could sell our comics purely a la carte. Like some of these right here: Barbarella, Meta Barons, Incal.
Hey, what you're teasing me here? What do you mean secret rare? What are you talking about here? What's the tease here?
So what Veve offers is that you can either buy the comic as it is, for its standard kind of digital price, or you can buy a unique version that they're able to mint, which
like your own unique variant.
Exactly, which becomes a collector's piece. And that's very innovative of Veve, to be able to give the consumer the choice of a regular edition or something more unique.
Yo, that's fire. So when that, okay, I'm really digging that. Not now, that's different in the digital collectible space. That's different.
Yeah.
So what was that conversation like? Where did that come from?
Well, they had been doing this for a while, and you should have one of the Veve folks on who can tell you more about it. But I believe they've been around for about 10 years or so, creating 3D sculptures, creating NFTs, creating digital art with different brands, as well as having retail spaces in New Zealand. And last year, they launched their digital comics platform, and then they had the idea of bridging the two, of offering not just the digital comics, but collectible, unique editions of them, which, like I said, we had not pulled the trigger on partnering with anybody doing that type of thing, but they felt like the right partners. And we just launched with them in December. We're just doing a handful of titles at first, and we're progressively going to roll out more and more of our catalog, which we have a very deep catalog.
Yes, you guys do. That you have some amazing books with them. That you listen, folks. If you guys don't know, listen. Let me show this right here. I need you guys to visit that website that I'm showing below. Holy smokes, the stuff they got. Listen, like this is comic books for us, for us. They're not no kiddies. Yeah, you could probably find some stuff for YA, but no, this is for us.
Yeah, so our catalog, is both in French and in English, and altogether it's thousands of titles, and a lot of it is more on the mature genre space. So a lot of science fiction, a lot of fantasy, and Barbarella is one of our classics, and then we have books like the Incal or the Meta Barons, of these big sci-fi stories.
Yeah, I read the Incal, that volume 1. What a beautiful book, amazing story. Like,
thank you.
Oh, woo! I'm telling you, I'm a fan. Like, I'm an indie guy, and definitely Humanoids definitely does bring some different scale stuff to comics that I think that we as comic book fans need to be seeing. And I love the fact that they're partnering with Judas Space, because again, this is the wave. You know what I mean? This is the future, the way that things are changing, and like, I'm so digging this, brother. I'm so digging it.
Appreciate the kind words, and I think for us it's great to be on these types of platforms and make our books available to the widest readership possible. Veve is, like I said, based in New Zealand, and they have a great footprint in terms of that New Zealand Australia area, which is, from a physical sense, a bit harder to reach for American publishers. And so for us, it's just, more fans, more readers, more people with whom to connect. And so we're really looking forward to, throughout this next year, really, like I said, progressively rolling out our catalog and partnering with Veve, and hopefully people respond both to the classic titles, but also some of the newer titles we've developed over the last few years. And, like Urban Legends, the book that came out a few years ago, is actually for a younger demographic. Then we have something like Lisa, which is an excellent book that's more in the slice of life space.
And those
So
are great.
we're really excited over here.
So, listen, let me ask you. You know, I know we've been preaching Humanoids. I want to know what's your favorite personal of all the titles that Humanoid has published. Which one holds a special place in your heart, and why?
Okay. So
You test me. I got you.
yeah. So there's a handful. So the Incal, I had not, which has been around since the 80s. You know, I had not read it as a kid because I had moved to America when I was 13, so I probably missed it. However,
Where in America did you move to first?
I'm sorry.
Where in America did you move to first after France?
I moved to LA.
LA, straight to LA. Oh damn, you went all the way.
That was a culture shock. But I liked it, and I've been here ever since.
What was well? Oh man, I gotta know. Okay, that's a delicate age, 13. So you come in as just coming into your teen years. You're leaving France, what you grew up in. You go to LA. What was the biggest shock to you?
So a couple things. So not only did I grow up in France, I grew up in the countryside. So a tiny little French town, you know, where surrounded by farms and forest, and it was beautiful, but pretty secluded. And you know, we were a couple of hours away from Paris. So the scope of things here really blew me away. You know, I was used to you know, kind of just, you know, small town life. And even though I'd been exposed to a lot of culture and some travel, I came here and just seeing the size of the freeway, the size of supermarkets, and how many products they were offering, and the size of movie theaters, and these cineplex, these giant movie plexes with like 20 screens, everything just felt like supersized.
These damn Americans, they love it big.
Yeah, so that was big. And then what I really appreciated too was culturally it was so diverse. I mean, especially Los Angeles, you have a big Latino influence, and a big African American population. And so coming here as like a 13-year-old, like you said, started being very, very impressionable. I came here, and whether it was the American sports, I was really into basketball at the time, and it was right when Kobe started playing here for the Lakers.
R.I.P. man, yeah, man.
Yeah, and then this was also like hip hop was really big in the 90s when I moved here.
What era specifically in the 90s though? Like the gang era you moved?
Somewhat. It was like mid 90s. So there's definitely Biggie and Tupac, and there was the East Coast West Coast thing going on. And so for this little French kid to come here and just be exposed to all of this was overwhelming in a sense, but also very exciting, and then being in the capital of entertainment, and seeing all these billboards for movies and TV shows. We didn't have that in France. I come here and you drive down Sunset Boulevard and you see all these posters, that are gigantic. And you go to these, like I said, I remember going to Costco. We didn't have any Costco in France. And then something like that. It's a warehouse. It's giant. And you got rows and rows of products. And, you can buy a pack of candy that's, this big. So all that was pretty exciting. Like anything else, it's an adjustment, and there were some challenges as well. But my parents were very supportive, and overall, people here in LA and in America in general, I think, because of the immigrant experience, and I wasn't the only one. There were kids moving from Korea and kids moving from Mexico, and we were all together, and overall felt very welcomed here, and so. And now I truly consider myself, bicultural and just as much American as I am French.
Well, awesome.
Which is pretty great for a company like Humanoids, because that's what they are. We're half French, half American.
Yeah, man, bringing those stories that Americans need to read. Because thank you guys for bringing those type of things out here. Because we're not exposed to it normally, right? You know, we're used to our DCs, our Marvels, our superhero, but what Humanoids brings, again, you know, such a variety, and especially for me, I'm a big fan of the slice of life stuff that you guys do.
Yeah, thank you.
As a
As
key,
am I.
you guys hit the mark, man, on some sentimental shit. Like, yeah, maybe because I'm getting older, I'm getting softer, who knows? But I'm just saying that those books really resonate, and it's like, yo, this is comics, man. Like, this is what makes you feel. And Humanoids, yo, definitely bringing that human perspective to it. No pun intended.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That's really, really heartwarming to hear, and I feel the same way. As much as I like genre stories, and look, I love superhero stuff, and I just love a variety of things. But at the end of the day, I think what we connect to as an audience, and certainly I, as a reader, is the humanity in the storytelling. You know, it's and so whenever we find that in any creative voice, whether it's an illustrator or an author, writer that is able to convey that either from a personal space, from their own story, or from a fictional space, those are the people we want to work with, because we can recognize that they have a talent in sharing something that an audience can connect to. And at the end of the day, that's why we do this, you know.
Excellent. So I want to say this, I don't want to take too much more for your time, because you're the big boss over there, brother. You know what I mean? You gotta get some work done. But let's talk about positive impacts, right? With this wonderful collaboration. What excites you most about this partnership potential to transform how fans interact and collect comics in this digital age?
Well, I'd say like I touched on a little earlier, and I'll expand on it a bit, is the opportunity to reach new readers and hopefully, maybe some younger readers and people who are a little bit more up to date with technology and progress, and delving into things like NFT and digital collectibles, or who read a lot online. And the idea for us is always to find new readers, kind of spread the good word of our stories and of our creators, and then introduce them to the rest of our catalog, and hopefully to the rest of, the idea is that if they read something they like from us, they'll want to read more, whether it's from us or from other publishers. And I think you probably had, I don't know you, but I imagine you had this at some point, is like, there's a certain sense of excitement when you start finding stories that you relate to, and you realize that or art that you relate to, that you then have the ability to find more. It's like, to this day, I can't tell you how excited I am anytime I go into a bookstore or a music store, or like when they used to have, like, Blockbuster and DVD stores, like, to be around that much storytelling, and to realize that, like, I'm not going to run out of stuff to read. I'm not going to run out of stuff to watch. Like, that is a thrilling feeling, and we want to be able to keep being a part of that with readers.
Gotcha. You hear this? You hear this? That's passion, folks. That's love. This is comics. I'm telling you, if you guys have not checked out Humanoids, check them out right there, humanoids.com. But check out this collabo. I showed you guys the website. Go to vv.me/comics. You're going to find out, he said, not just Humanoids, but a whole bunch of publishers showing that love for other indie, because what it is, man, it takes a village. Yep. It's all celebrate our stories together, because you never know when somebody needs to jump onto another platform. Just kidding. But with that, it's just true, man. It's a wonderful space. Humanoids is bringing some beautiful stories, and Vivi's bringing it up on that technology space. And I'm technophile. I love this stuff, and the fact that you guys, incorporating that into comics, and the way that the game is changing, like say, with incorporation of AI and all this stuff, like, we're going to be reading and doing things a little bit differently when it comes to this beautiful culture. It's going to evolve, and you're either with it or you're not, but it's going to evolve with or without you. You know what I mean?
And Al, I want to thank you, because Comic Crusaders have always been big supporters of Humanoids. Your coverage across the industry has always been really great. And I know you guys spotlighted recently one of our latest big projects, which was our crowdfunding campaign for our upcoming magazine called Metal Hurlant.
Oh yeah, bro. Y'all murder that too, baby. What?
Thank you. We were very very touched by the response from fans and how successful it was. And now we're working hard to execute on that and to deliver. So for backers, they can look out for issue number 1 to get to them around April-ish, and then it'll be in stores in May, and then also available on digital platforms. And again, the goal will be to get it out to as many people as possible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Bring it, baby. Bring it. What a campaign. That love that was shown to that campaign. Like me, just as a fan, just to see this is an old school. I see what's been going on. And just to see that reaction, just as a fan of comics, that's love. I felt so happy. Whoa. This is actually my product. But just being a fan of the product, whoa, people, it resonated with people, and they came out. They came out, man.
Yeah, they certainly did, and we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, that's dope. So, Al, before we go, what's up, man? Is Humanoids going to be making any Comic-Con appearances? Do we have any plans where we could see you guys get a taste of the Humanoids library, on hand? What's going on?
They're not set in stone yet, but we have, we used to go to San Diego regularly because it's just, down the coast here. So either San Diego or New York, we hope to be there and have more of Metal Hurlant on hand to show readers, as well as the rest of the catalog, and I know Veve is, they were at San Diego this past year, and they're making a big effort to continue to sign publishers up and to get readers interested. So who knows, maybe we'll both Veve and Humanoids will be at some of the big shows this year, and we hope people come out and say hi.
They better say hi. There we go. Check out the website at veve.me/comics, support comic books. Check out the Humanoids library that's chilling right there right now. Follow them on social, on X at Humanoids Inc. And of course, you can also follow Veve at Veve_comics. And please check out everything Humanoids at humanoids.com. Let me tell you, this is one of the most. This is definitely one of my favorite independent publishers. I will count my favorite indie publishers on 4 fingers. So, and let me tell you that Humanoids does occupy one of them. All right.
Thank you, Al.
Yeah, for real, man. Y'all do incredible work, and just things that's outside the lane, and that's what I appreciate about what y'all do. Thank you for allowing me some time with you, Veve. Thank you for supporting an amazing company like this, and I can't wait to see what you're doing for us fans over there through that. You'll follow everything Comic Crusaders at comiccrusaders.com. You know what I mean? Check us out everywhere except on YouTube, which is Comic Crusaders World, because I have an extended family there. So check us out what we do, especially K-pop Cosmo. If you're into music, let me tell you, the shorty right there, Freya, the queen of K-pop Cosmo for Undercover Case, smashing it, bringing the game. Let me tell you, do you like K-pop music, Alex? Are you a fan of music?
I'm a big fan of music. I can't say that I'm very knowledgeable about K-pop. I did live in South Korea for a couple of years and got to see kind of how big K-pop is there, and that was a great firsthand experience.
Oh, there you go. So you're not doing the dances, Al?
How about you go first, and I'll follow your in steps.
All right. You know what? I go to San Diego and I see you. We doing a TikTok dancing on something. All right.
We can live stream that.
All right. Let's go. That's what man said. When you get out 2 Alexes in the building, that's Al squared. It's an explosion of dopeness. All right.
That's right.
My man, yo, much love. I appreciate it to Humanoids. A big shout out, Veve. Big shout out to my Crusaders and everybody that tuned in. Much love. I see y'all. Like the video, show some love, show some support, and definitely follow my man over here everywhere. Look him up, but especially follow Humanoids. You know what it is. That's what it is. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love. Wepppaaaaa. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovergames.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app in the Play Store today.